and it is funded by the Department of Science and Technology and by the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic, and Natural Resources Research and Development, or DOST PICARD. Under Project Saray, we covered 9 crops, which include rice, corn, coconut, coffee, cacao, banana, sugarcane, soybean, and tomato. And we conducted the research in collaboration with the 9 universities, state universities, and colleges. Project Saray is a response to the pressing challenges brought about by climate change, specifically to the agricultural sector. It anchors its trust on precision agriculture by using advances in technology such as cropping systems, modeling, field sensors, and GIS and remote sensing. And with this, it aims to develop decision support models for crop forecasting, crop advisories, and early warning systems. What we wanted in Saray is to provide the Filipino farmer additional tool to his ever-reliable Carabao. And with this, we decide to provide him with satellites. As of May of 2024, there are 9,900 active satellites. We have our very own, the microsatellites of the Philippines, Diwata and Maya. And many of these satellites, they collect information that are related to agriculture, which include information on crop, soil, water, air, weather, and climate. Satellite remote sensing is an advanced technology that is being used by highly developed nations, even by developing countries like India. These countries have gained advantages in agricultural production due to their use of these satellites in remote sensing in various agricultural activities that are being done near real time and on regular basis, which include, among others, crop area estimation, crop yield estimation, monitoring of pests and diseases, crop damage assessment, crop monitoring of growth and even health, study of climate change and disaster risk reduction and management, rainfall and temperature measurements, and forecasting. Under Saray, we have developed an agricultural monitoring system, which we call the Saray Enhanced Agricultural Monitoring System, or SEAMS. We now have a system to monitor on near real-time basis the actual area planted to crop and its condition based on what is good. This is based on free and regularly updated satellite images, mostly coming from US and the European Union. And also, what we have developed in Saray is the use of free and open source GIS, which include QGIS, Google Earth Engine, and SNAP. So these again are free and open source. So this is a type of farm monitoring from space, even without going to the field. By just looking and processing the images, you can tell whether that area is growing a particular crop. Why? Because of the information that are carried or within these images. They are not simply colors, but they have, in fact, values. And you can see at the bottom below that is a graph that describes the characteristic of the plant that is planted for that particular area. And therefore, we can identify the type of crop, provide insights on the health of the crop even. Even without going to the field, you can tell whether an area is planted to rice on the left, an area is planted to corn on the right, because of the spatial signature that each of these crop carries with it. What we did in Sarai is we did the analysis of the science. We did the number crunching. And with that, we tried to develop, or we tried to translate this into data or information that the farmers can readily use. Like a value will be meaning a dead plant or inanimate object. A certain range of value will be unhealthy plant, and so on. So we did the science, we did the number crunching so that the farmers can use this information. So again, by just looking at this area, looking at the different colors, those colors have been translated into those information that can be readily used by the farmers. So again, the use of satellite remote sensing can also provide us with a much needed information on weather and climate. We know that in the Philippines, there are only very few areas that have these weather stations. With the use of satellite remote sensing, this data from the satellite can compensate, can complement the data on ground collected by Pag-asa and some other entities. And we know for a fact that most of our farms, they are far from the installation of these weather stations. Because of the availability also of this data, we now have the ability to do a more in-depth analysis of an area in terms of the drought and flood vulnerability of these areas. We have at least 30 years of record coming from these remotely sensed images. Every part of the Philippines is covered by those remotely sensed images. We can use also, because of remote sensing, it covers a wide area, just like this one. This shows a 19,000 hectare of area wherein the flooding that has occurred can immediately be measured. And what is good about this also of the system is that before flooding, we know whether there is a crop standing, what growth stage of the crop is standing, and after the flooding, we can readily see which areas are flooded, the flooded areas wherein you only have newly planted, and so on. Also, we develop in the system a forecasting system wherein we have at least a 5-month forecast for this weather data. And this will be very important, particularly in our forecasting the plant that we are growing. Because of the availability of this different information, we now have this ability to do this anywhere in the Philippines. Okay, so this is what we actually developed. You have the combination of this remote sensing, satellite remote sensing, and we did the field studies and data collection, and then we have crop modeling, and we integrate this different scientific information to come up with a data that has been translated into a form that can be readily distributed to the farmers. This is the type of integration that we have in the UPLB Sarai ICMF. And therefore, having developed this, we are now deploying this type of system down to the LGU. We are able to do this because we have developed a system which is using free satellite images, using free GIS software, and only need a very simple setup of computer setup. That is why even a third-class municipality like Calintaan in Occidental Mindoro and Lupao, Nueva Ecija, they are able to produce the kind of output that we are producing. They did not need to buy new computers for them to immediately start up the system. What they only needed was to have a series of trainings, uh, uh, three days of 2 to 3 training. So and that's it. And they now are able to produce this kind of output. They are now able to monitor the crops that is standing in their area. They can readily measure the areas which are, let's say, harvested or on what stages of growth they are. So because of this system that we are able to deploy this with these LGUs, we can really say that farm monitoring from space, what seems to be impossible is now possible with SIMS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dorado.
Okay, so we'd like to open the floor for your questions. And I think what struck to me the most for during Professor Dorado's presentation is that a technology that is free and simple is accessible. So thank you very much, sir. So do you have any questions for Prof. Dorado? Yes, po.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm Erwin Belen. I'm the 2024 Next Gen Ambassador for ICTforAg. And from Dorado, thank you very much for your presentation. It's very comprehensive. And I'm really excited with what Sarai has been doing using remote sensing. Although my question is, what's the moving forward of Project Sarai? Um, I mean, I know the challenge for, especially for all the digital infrastructure is first the storage and then also the connectivity. Now, how the project will sustain, or rather, how will Sarai sustain the project? Will it be institutionalized by the government, or do you see partnerships with the private sector? So the main question is, what's the moving forward of Project Sarai? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm excited to inform the group that just last week, or no, this week, we presented to the director's level of Picard, the moving forward, actually. The secretary of the OST has asked Sarai to come up with a proposal such that every region, actually not all, but 16 regions, will have Sarai to be implemented for each region. So it will start with the type of the one that I've shown earlier, wherein you have for the region, they will be working with initially with an LGU, and then after training these LGUs, then this will be done for other LGUs. So this is the type of institutionalization that they are looking at in terms of Project Sarai. Now, in terms of our experience, as long as you are showing the LGU that they can do the processing, that they can come up with the information that they really need and can be implemented on the ground, then they, on their own, is sustaining this system. We have an LGU partner, in particular Dumangas, Iloilo, and they have been doing it for several years now, so 5 years. So we were provided with Picard with new funding so that this can be duplicated with 3 new LGUs. And then this is on top of what we will be doing also for all the regions of the OST. And also, SRA, Sugar Regulatory Authority, is now adopting this. We are training at the moment 3 mill districts so that they will be able to use this in terms of monitoring. We were quite surprised when we went to those several mill districts. There are only 3 personnel of SRA monitoring 59,000 hectares of sugar cane. Just 3. And then when they saw this, they were quite surprised that there is such technology that they can use free without needing any new instruments to use this. And yes, sir, the one major requirement, especially when using the Google Earth Engine platform, will be the connectivity. That's also a challenge.
Yes po. Prof, just a follow-up question. How does Project Sarai fit with the overall strategy of the Philippine government on digitalization for agriculture? I mean, the Department of Agriculture has their initiatives, and especially all the LGUs as well. They have their separate initiatives on adopting these kinds of technologies. So, how does Project Sarai fit with the overall strategy of the Philippine government in pursuing digitalization of agriculture? Thank you.
Okay, sir. First of all, the university is maintaining the integrated crop monitoring forecasting office. Right now, it has only a single personnel at the moment, but the administration has provided new support. So this is on the part of UPLB. We will be continuing to do and improve on the research because, first of all, we are also using the technologies that we have developed in our teaching, in our research. So on the part of the university, this technology that we have developed under Sarai will not be put on the shelf. It is continuing to be developed because of our other mandates of teaching and research. Now, in terms of collaborating with the Department of Agriculture, in fact, during the time of Project Sarai, the initial stages, we are working with the operations division of the Central and then Region 4B, in particular the corn program. So we started this collaboration with them. So again, in terms of nurturing and further improving the technology of Sarai, we are doing it in the university. And in fact, our main problem right now is that once we introduce this to an area, and then there are a lot of new requests that are coming in. So the problem is the people that can train those new ones. Like when we presented this in Occidental San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, we presented a just part of Sarai, but when the onion farmers listened, they already have a request, a standing request for them, because they believe that they can also benefit from this. And then the other one, that's our problem. The growing requests from different sectors, because the technology is very cheap or does not require those big investment to start. Huwag ka naman.
Thank you very much for your presentation. The model is introducing this to the local government unit. I think most of the people here will also be interested in your experience in dealing with the local government units, and also knowing that local government executives have a limited tenure. So how do you ensure sustainability when your mayors or your provincial governors change? So how can we make sure that this technology will remain and will continue? And a follow-up question is, what is your most significant learning in taking your technology to scale?
Okay, ma'am. When targeting LGUs, we targeted in particular the municipal agricultural office. And our experience when we introduced this is that, again, the personnel are very limited. They are covering thousands, especially those agricultural LGUs. They are covering thousands of hectares of areas, which they cannot do on their own. And therefore, our thinking is that if this is regularly being done, in a year's time, regularly, the municipal agricultural office can generate these maps and information weekly, even daily. They can. The module can produce daily output for them, but oftentimes they only need once a week or every 2 weeks. If they are able to generate this kind of information, we believe that even with the change of leadership, the office itself, because they don't need additional budget, they'll be able to produce on a regular basis those information. And for us, we are trying to hold on that belief that this will help the sustainability. And of course, we always promise and always tell them that the communication now is very fast, such that once they have a problem processing their information, if they need further interpretation, then the ICMF of UP Los Baños and those 11 SUCs can provide them the information. Because the setup right now, if they don't have the system, if a farmer will have a problem, he will go to the municipal agricultural office. If the municipal agricultural office cannot provide the necessary interpretation or provide help for them, he will go to the provincial, and then he will go to, higher up. And therefore, the problem usually in the farm, if it is not solved within a week, then the plant may have died. But because of the system right now that we have, they can tell us, okay, this farm with these coordinates has a problem. Can you help us interpret it? So we have that kind of communication with these LGUs. And we are also hoping on that kind of relationship that this can sustain their enthusiasm with this one. So in terms of the learning, in terms of the most significant learning, it is very important that for us, the researchers, to come up with those important information, important data that we can share to the farmers, that we can share with the other stakeholders, so that they can be interested. It's not in terms of showing those maps. It's not in terms of showing them the interactivity of what they can do, but it is more on we are able to generate this information. We want to share this with you to help you in terms of coping up with problems in the farm. So we need really to do the hard work in terms of really look at the science behind in terms of do the number crunching so that we can come up with an information translated into a form that can be readily used by the farmers. And for us, we always see that kind of appreciation from them, that we can do this, and we are trying to share this. Not in terms of coming up with those publications, okay, for points, no. In terms of the information and trying to share the experience also from the different users. We are sharing, we are telling them this is how we are able to come up with this information. We are doing this and this, and they appreciate that, and they can accept na there is a basis for the information that you are sharing. And another one, I forgot to point this out, that the system that we have developed, and we are telling this in every forum that we are speaking in, is that it becomes more intelligent with more information coming in from the farmers. So we are always emphasizing this, that they have a big role in terms of making the system more intelligent or better, because the information that they will be able to contribute, like saying that even sharing that there is a problem with their farm, giving the location, that is a big enough contribution. And they do appreciate that kind of setup wherein they have a contribution also.
Thank you, sir. Before we head to lunch, we have one more question.
Hello,
One
good,
question.
yeah, good morning, Dr. Dorado. I am Sonia from PhilRice. You've been mapping multiple crops, and are you doing it for the entire country, like you're doing the mapping at national level? Did you also conduct accuracy assessment for each of the map produced per crop?
Okay, ma'am. In terms of the accuracy assessment, this has been asked from us from different forum also. It is very expensive. Within the setup Sarai, we don't have the budget to do that, wherein we will have personnel to really collect those information. What we did is to engage the LGUs, to engage our different farmers to provide us with those needed information for them to contribute. We did not have that kind of validation, or but what we did is validation with the farmers. So the actual measurement wherein you measure the let's say components of the crops and so on, we did not have that kind of validation. But the validation is from the users themselves, from the LGU. So the MAO, or Municipal Agricultural Office, or even the City Agricultural Office, they know the people, they know their constituents. So what they do is they ask them through text, is it correct? Is your farm planted to rice? And this is the growth stage at the moment. That is the kind of validation that we had for our project, because of the limitation of the budget that will be needed to do that. Not unlike Field Rice for PRISM, wherein you have the personnel of the different offices of Field Rice nationwide, wherein you have the manpower also to do that. we did not have that kind of budget and personnel for Project Saray, because we started on phase 2 this seems, and it is already on the deployment aspect of the system.
All right. Thank you, Professor Dorado. For questions, you may approach Sir later on or during lunch break.
Okay, so before we head to lunch, I would like to let us award the certificate of appreciation to our panel members. And first, for our keynote speaker, let me read the citation. Certificate of appreciation is presented to Professor Moises A. Dorado as a keynote speaker on the topic integrated crop monitoring and forecasting using remote sensing. Signed this day. Sorry. So, signed this day of May 29, 2024 at Erie Headquarters, Los Baños, Laguna. I would like to call on Mr. Benedict Hardinero, the ICTforAg CT lead for Los Baños, Philippines, and Dr. Alice Laborte, research coordinator for the Philippines, to please present the award and token of appreciation to our keynote speaker. Please stand in the middle. Sorry. Okay. And while that's happening, let me read the citation. For the panel members, certificate of appreciation is presented to name of panelists in the session Localizing Digital Agriculture for Impact, Policy Framework, Stakeholder Collaborations, and Partnerships. So Assistant Professor Paolo Romel P. Sanchez, may we invite you on stage.
Sir?
And Ms. Juka Laksina.
Ms. Juka, please come on stage. Sir Paulo, please come on stage.
Director Glenn Estrada, and Mr. Charlie Pasakian. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Sige po. Please stand sa middle.
Sir?
Okay, so while you guys are taking photos, okay. Okay, let's give them a warm round of applause.